And despite having 35 years to prepare a father of the bride's speech for my daughter, I'm still left standing here today speechless at how beautiful she is. So the most beautiful bride I've seen since your mother was 36 years ago.
Oh.
It is said that the keys to a good speech are brevity and levity. Well, I'm sorry, honey, but tonight you'll get neither. I've got a lot to say, and marriage is pretty heavy stuff. Marriages, like births, mark a new beginning. The day I drove home from the hospital after Arias was born was a new beginning for me. To be 26 and the father of a daughter was overwhelming and quite scary. But the anticipation for her life and for our future relationship helped me to overcome my fears and to work hard to be a father worthy of such a daughter. Arias, I can't help but reflect on all the years I was lucky enough to watch you grow and become the beautiful woman you are today. You captured my heart on the day you were born, and I've become more and more in awe of you as the years have passed by. You're my little girl, my Bean Louie, my podunk community, and my ray of sunlight. And no matter what your age, you'll always be those things to me. Those of you who are parents know that it's not always easy. At times there's chaos, yelling, screaming, crying, fighting, pouting, puking. But there's also laughing, lots of laughing, and smiling and joy. For me, having children has been like setting a constant memory factory in motion. And Arias, I want you to know that within the chaos of a young family, there were many times when I didn't think to ask how you were doing. Because of your competence and your quiet inner strength, even as a child, I always took it for granted that you were okay, and that's not fair. I want to tell you now that I'm sorry for that. And while not every day was perfect, I hope you know that the love I feel for you always has been. Those of us who know Arias know that wherever she goes, whether into a room full of people or into the great outdoors, that space becomes a better place just from her presence. She is a precious gift to anyone who knows her. As I've watched her grow from a child into a very mature, responsible adult, I'm very proud of the fact that she has worked so hard, both in creating a fulfilling career for herself, and more importantly, on making the effort to really know herself, and to make her life what it has become. And I have absolutely no hesitation in telling you, Lee, that you have been a big part of this. That the continued growth of this young lady into someone I am so proud of has a lot to do with you and what you have brought into her life. Tom and Kathy, thank you so much for raising such a fine young man and encouraging him to share his life with our daughter. You've done a wonderful job, and it's an honor to have our families unite in this beautiful way. So speaking of Lee, intelligent, talented, good-looking, kind, thoughtful, generous, a born leader. But enough about Arias, let's talk about you. Sorry, buddy, that was low-hanging fruit. I couldn't resist. This is the time where I'm supposed to officially welcome Lee into our family. But the truth is, you've been a part of this family since the day we met you. I don't think any amount of preparation can ever leave a father feeling ready to give his daughter away. But if I had to choose a person to hand her to, I would choose you every time. Of all the amazing qualities that you possess, my favorite of all is that you're always making Arias smile. It's said that when your children find true love, and I know that Arias has found this with you, parents find true joy. Now, a good long while before Lee finally proposed, and Arias was getting more than a little bit impatient, we had dinner with them, and I sarcastically mentioned something about if they weren't ever going to get around to tying the knot, I'd be spending their wedding fund on a new car or some other major purchase. Well, time kept marching on, nothing happened, and many months passed before Lee finally called me and asked for permission to propose to Arias. I was thrilled. And I told him that we cared for and loved him very much, and that we welcomed him into our family, and that we were confident that he would take good care of our daughter because we knew how much he truly loves her. He said how much he cared for and loved us as well. There was a slight pause. He cleared his throat, and then he said, "So does this still mean I get a dowry for the wedding?" I laughed and I said, "Your dowry is sitting in my driveway, bub. I just bought Deborah a new Prius." We first met Lee when Arias brought him to our family gathering on Father's Day. He seemed like a nice young man, very confident and at ease, maybe a little too at ease. As a father of a daughter, you kind of want their suitors to be at least a little bit intimidated when they meet Dad for the first time. But Lee just fit right in and seemed completely comfortable with meeting the family. So after dinner, as they were leaving, and I knew my time was running short, I said, "Hey Lee, you know what I used to tell the other boys that came to take Arias out on a date back when we had the big property on the horse trail?" He shook his head, he looked a little concerned, so I knew I was on the right track. I said, I would tell them the next time they came to visit, I would take them to the far end of the property and they could help me castrate a pig. That would usually do the trick. And for a moment, Lee had that deer in the headlights look I was hoping for. But then he just laughed, gave me a big hug, and said his goodbyes. Damn it. So a few weeks later, we had another family gathering, and as things were wrapping up, Lee said he had something for me out by the garage. Now, keep in mind, this is only the second time we had been with him. There was a cardboard box sitting right there, from which I could hear the sound of a pig oinking.
Oh.
I'm thinking to myself, boy, for only meeting us a couple of times, this kid is really not worried about delicately working his way into the family. So I lifted the box. Here's what I found.
Oh my God.
That's awesome.
Get it, Lee.
Needless to say, I was impressed with his sewing skills until he told me that his mom actually helped him do this. I said, your mom did this? Well, now I'm thinking, well, at least we don't have to worry about the in-laws being too uptight. So Lee, as your dowry, in the hopes that you will soon have a daughter of your own, and more importantly, me, a granddaughter. That way you'll always be able to demonstrate castrating a pig to any suitors that come. In all seriousness, and I've told this to Lee before, that if a baby is in their future, I know he would make an exceptional and devoted father. And I know that I'll never have to worry about you treating Arias right. I know this, not because I castrate pigs or have a lot of guns or Bushmaster knives. I know this because of that beautiful mama bear right there, aka the Black Widow. If you don't behave, I'm just going to sit back and watch. Now, this last year, and indeed in these last few weeks, we've all seen how quickly life can change and how things in your life can be taken away from you. So don't ever forget to enjoy everything about your time together. One day soon, if you are as fortunate as I was those 35 years ago, you will stand in awe of a new life entering your family. That will be another beginning filled with apprehension and anticipation. Bring to that relationship the same level of love and commitment you bring to your marriage, and you will find joy beyond compare. So in the words of the great B.B. King, I say to the two of you, may I live forever, but may the two of you live forever and a day, because I'd hate to be here without you. And when they lay me down to rest, may the last voices I hear be yours and Kelsey's and the love of my life, saying that while we were all here and alive together, we were family and the best of friends, and that we loved each other deeply. Cheers.
I'm going to prove to you, because she had a very specific set of criteria of what she wanted, and we all thought it was a little bit ridiculous. We're like, not one person can do all of this, but she met Lee, and her first criteria was that she wanted someone who could really hear her, someone who would listen. And Lee is such a good listener that he actually heard her through a wall when they were on vacation. And, you know, he heard, like, she was alone, she was single, she was vulnerable, like, open to be in a relationship. And he knew that he had to meet this person, Arias, my sister. So, good job, Lee, listening. And he never has stopped listening, even to me and to everyone else here who knows him.
Yeah.
And then the next criteria that she had is she wanted someone who could commit right away, who just knew that she was the one. And I found out about Lee and Arias on Facebook because they were in a relationship after 2 days. We were all extremely concerned. There was a picture of them standing in front of that beach cottage my dad was talking about that they stayed in together. There was a picture of them, the cover photo on Facebook. It's a big deal. And that was it. They've been an old married couple ever since day 2. And she just wanted, you know, someone that she was really, really comfortable with, like true intimacy. So after 2 months of knowing each other, just a couple of months, they actually moved in together to a place that had no walls. Like, there was just like a cave where a bathroom should be, and there were no walls. And that's how, like, down these two people were, just to, like, get into it together. But they quickly moved after, I want to say they only lasted there a couple of months, but their relationship has endured, and their true intimacy that they share has endured. And the biggest thing I would say that Arias really wanted is someone who was emotionally supportive. And Lee is that. If Arias has a problem, they're going to talk about it all day long. Into the night, they're going to break it down, they're going to analyze it, and they're going to figure that shit out. Because that's what they do. I've heard it's a family thing. And so, like, getting into the shit. And I will say that Lee, personally, I have been emotionally supported by Lee. I feel like a lot of us have been.
We have.
Right?
Yeah.
I've been more emotionally supported by Lee than most of my ex-boyfriends. So good job, Lee. He's killing it in that department. And my sister Arias, she really sees the beauty in life with child wonderment. And she really wanted to find someone who could appreciate the little things. And I don't know if you know this about Lee, but he's actually a dumpster diver. He gets into trash, and he digs, like, he'll go through condom wrappers and diapers, anything. And he is gonna find gold. Like they furnished part of their apartment just through him finding trash. And the thing is that he knows that if he gets in the trenches and he goes down there, that he's gonna hit gold. And he did when he found my sister, Arias Collins. That was his gold, and it will continue to be his gold. Because, I mean, my sister manifested a man, but really she found someone who had the same wonderful qualities that she has. She is an amazing listener, so emotionally supportive and compassionate and wonderful. And of course she found Lee, because how could she not? Because she just found someone who got her and who she got, and they are perfectly paired together. And I will say, I don't have a lot of faith in relationships right now. I had a boyfriend a week ago, and he's not sitting there. But when I see my sister and Lee together, it really, I believe in love, and I believe in things like marriage. It's crazy. Like, I don't really believe in these things. But when I see you two together, I believe, and I love you both so much, and I'm so grateful because I also get a brother out of this. Brother Lee, I didn't have a brother growing up. So, to the newlyweds, my sister Arias and my brother Lee, congratulations.
Good evening, everyone. I'm not nearly as funny as those two, so I'm gonna bring the emotional tenor down a little bit. But for those of you who don't know me, I'm Lee's little brother, and I'm overjoyed to be here celebrating the marriage of these two lovebirds. As you can tell, Lee's one of a kind. I've always looked up to his bravery, his ability to face his fears and move forward despite them, his generosity and inclusion. Lee never hesitated inviting me, his baby brother, with his friends, and knowing that I needed it. He always supported me throughout my life, especially during like major life changes. Provided me with lodging, camaraderie, and he's always been incredibly loyal and supportive. Like being there for me and using his athleticism to hit a kid who was bullying me with a basketball behind the back from full court. And then there's Arias. She always exudes a warmth and kindness and makes Aaliyah and I, and I'm sure all of you, feel so loved in her presence. She has a special spark, a trait they both share, a rich and vibrant spirit. All her own, and we're so lucky to experience that. She's such a beautiful and talented artist, and has generously included us in her artistic exploits and gifted us some of her amazing creations. And then there's who they are together. As you all know, Lee and Arias are both thoughtful, always tending to those they love. It can be hard to remain positive amid the struggles of everyday life, and it has been so great to see that Lee and Arias have the same joy for life. They both savor and celebrate life's pleasures, and they both love with their whole hearts. They support each other in exploring what makes them happy, and they amplify each other. They brighten each other's light. Seeing Lee and Arias together brings me so much joy. Their love is palpable, and knowing the nature of their relationship brings it into even more depth and color, because they both know and fully accept each other and help each other grow. They're not trying to change each other. They love the individuals they are, and it's incredibly gratifying to see my big brother find that kind of love. Arias, you have been a member of our family for a while now, but I'm overjoyed to welcome you officially. I'm so grateful to have such a wonderful new sister, and Aaliyah and I are so grateful to have a new close friend. Lee's lucky to have you, and we are lucky to have you. I love you guys so much, and know that your bond will only strengthen over time, and I wish you so much joy in your marriage. Cheers.
I'm Hallie. Kind of a big deal. I've been best friends with Arias since kindergarten. So we've been talking about today for legitimately 30 years and planning what her hair would look like and what dresses we'd wear and that sort of thing. And together with Kelsey and Shauna, the four of us kind of grew up like sisters. So this is emotional for me. Dan's made me cry twice, and then Kelsey made me cry laughing. So I try to hold it together and say my thoughts. So Arias is always a whimsical girl. According to her, she's the fairy with gold and turquoise wings, and I'm the emo fairy with purple and black wings. Even in the ripped up Ramones shirt and Doc Martens, I'm still a fairy to Arias, and that's always really meant a lot to me. We spent recesses and afternoons in the backyard on these epic make-believe adventures that Arias would create for us and fill us each into a role. And these adventures also had chapters that would span days or weeks long after the rest of us had forgotten we were playing a game. Arias would pick right back up, and we'd go with it, and it was wonderful. Only Arias's imagination could create these adventures. And so in the summers, we spent a lot of time at Crystal Cove, playing on the beach. And according to Arias, fairies lived in the bluffs, and she swore more than once that she'd seen a mermaid under the surf, and I had only just missed it, and I should pay attention. And we'd play near, at that time, those houses, the bungalows where Arias and Lee met, were all dilapidated and abandoned. And Deborah was constantly warning us not to play over there because she didn't want to explain to my mom why I got tetanus and all that thing. So, but we'd sit on the beach outside of them, and we'd make up these elaborate life stories about the people that had once lived in each of those houses. And so it makes sense that years later we were grown up, and she met this Prince Charming, and it was love before first sight, in those very bungalows on Crystal Cove. And Arias, you've always had this innate ability and this infectious love of life, and always a shoulder to lean on, an imaginative escape, and just a watermelon away from raucous hysterical laughter. And you've always had my back. Hell or high water, you have always had my back. And I just love you so much for that. You are my childhood. Yeah. And I've spent time getting to know Lee, and he's so perfect for you. He's a really wonderful guy. Sorry, I'm getting really emotional. He is kind, he is smart, he respects you, he listens to you, and he wants to take you on new adventures. So here's to Arias and Lee. From this day until your last day.
Hello, everyone. I'm the youngest sister of Lee, and I have 3 older brothers, and Lee's the eldest. And I wanted to write a little poem about these two to share. As I reflect on the nature of these 2 birds, I cannot help thinking of the Eurasian jay. Colors fade on many man-made materials, but with this breed, its feathers remain permanently bright and vivid. After being weaned at the tender age of 1,872 weeks, Lee's fledgling color began to express the mating dance. Oh. Not far around the corner was a choosy hen, and the shadle coop was enamored. The instinct of the eldest cock was captivated by her colorful and creative nest-building skills. In the brute creation, the male bird's flamboyance draws out his inner, unfading beauty. Survival is dire, and the hen must choose her mate. Is there a secret to the unfading beauty of the Eurasian jay? Researchers discovered the feather structure is responsible for its unfading hue. And in this moment, I'm happy to be a sibling to what is now and will forever be the new unfading pigment of our family coop. I love you.
I had to say something. This is such a hard act to follow for everybody that's been up here. And one of the first things I wanted to say was to the Collins family. This was a spectacular place and event that you put on. You can't follow Dean and what he's done tonight. And Deborah, the beauty of the garden, and Kelsey, the love and the emotion that she brought here. And there's a lot of people here that love these 2 people. And all I have to say is these 2 deserve each other. And you can take that a couple different ways. I mean it from pure love, though. And how many times do you have 2 people that go on an outing to Crystal Cove like that they go by themselves because they love each other themselves enough to reward themselves with a trip like that. I think they loved each other before they met each other. They loved themselves before they met each other. And the only way that you can really show love and support someone else is if you really love yourself. And they did that. They showed that. And if anybody deserved each other, it's these two. And you can hear from everybody talking how much they care about these two, because they include everybody. And they will take the time to talk to you. And we will talk as a family. I mean Kelsey was right. We will talk ad nauseum, and it's not ad nauseum. It's not. We will talk until we know that people at least are trying to hear and understand what we're trying to say. And these two are two really special people. And I just wanted to say, I love you both, and you two deserve each other. And cheers to you.